Hi, welcome to Transformation Tuesday. I'm Coach Shannon and I'd like to welcome you to our video series around how to make transformations in your life. For those of you who have followed me throughout this series, we spent the last 2 weeks really focusing on the foundation and laying the groundwork for the work that we're going to get into today. Week 1, we really focused around the connection between how our thoughts drive our feelings, which then drive our actions. And so in order for us to change our actions to be able to get our desired result, we need to change our mindsets and get ourselves into a healthy mindset. And I gave you an exercise around perspective to help you think about your life in a different way. Week 2, we focused around values and the importance of having a moral compass and clearly defined values. This moral compass is going to be our measuring stick. It's going to help us determine that if we're headed in the right direction as we get ready to embark on this journey of making a change. They'll help guide our decisions, and it also will be our brand and what we stand for. Today we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of transformational change by focusing on goals. So a goal is basically your desired result. At the end of the day, the goals that you come up with, those are the things that you're setting out to do. These are the changes that you're wanting to make. So it's really important to invest some time in making sure that we're putting together some really good goals. You may have heard the acronym SMART objectives or SMART goals, right? Making sure that goals are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time-bound. And these are really great elements to have in a goal. But there's one critical piece that I find is missing, and most of my clients are not successful if they focus just on creating SMART goals. What we have to do is really get to the core of why you're wanting to make that change and what's motivating you to make that change and incorporating that motivation into the goals. So an example of how this might work is, let's say that, for example, you want to become more healthy. And so a common goal that I will hear from my clients is, I want to lose weight. So a SMART objective around losing weight would be, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks. It's a great goal. It's very specific. It's measurable. It's attainable. It's reasonable. It's relevant. And it's time-bound. So there's a beginning and an end. So those are great elements to have on the goal. But what it doesn't get at is why you want to lose the weight. So when you start to ask yourself the question why, over and over again, you eventually get to what is the root that's driving your wanting to make that change. So if I ask a person why it is they want to lose weight, well, they say, I want to be healthy. Well, why do you want to be healthy? Well, because I'd like to have more energy. Well, why would you like to have more energy? Well, I find that a lot of times when I want to go and play with my kids out on the playground, I don't have the energy that they have to keep up with them, and I'd really like to be able to do it. And then I lean back and I say, aha, that right there, my friend, is your motivating factor. And so we need to do that with each of our goals to make sure that we have a really good understanding of what it is that we want to do. Because if we're not motivated to make the changes, you can have the smartest objective in the world and you're never going to achieve it. Another goal that I hear a lot of times from people is, I want to give back to the community. I'd like to volunteer. And so they set a goal that they are going to join an organization and they're going to volunteer their time for that particular organization. Again, a great goal. It's a very smart objective. But when I start to ask them, well, why did you pick that charity, or why did you pick that particular organization? What is it about this, volunteering that gets you to the end result that you want to make? And you quickly realize what their passion is. So I actually had one individual who decided to volunteer more at a domestic violence shelter for victims of domestic violence. And very quickly, by asking her why, we got down to the fact that she really wanted to be a part of the cause that's giving victims of domestic violence a safe place to be. And then all of a sudden that goal became so much more motivating to her. Another common goal that I get from professionals is networking. I want to broaden my network. I'd like to connect and meet with different people. Again, it's a great goal, right? So they join a professional organization, they commit to going to some sort of a networking session, and they work really hard to get comfortable having idle small talk with complete strangers and trying to turn them into friends. When I start to ask the question, well, why do you want to network? Why do you want to connect with people? Well, because I can meet people, and they have different backgrounds, and perhaps there's opportunities where I can help them and they can help me. Okay, that's great. Why would you want to do that? Well, because it makes me feel good and it helps give me a different perspective. I get isolated in my bubble and I don't necessarily get to see what other people encounter around me. So you want to broaden your perspective, and this is the way that you do it. Sometimes people want to come to me and they want to make a career change. They say, I'm just no longer feeling fulfilled in my job and I'd like to make a career change. And so we set an objective and we say, okay, in 8 weeks, our goal is to help you to, find where you have multiple opportunities to choose from, and hopefully can make a job change within, 8 to 10 weeks. Again, great goal to have. But when I start to ask the question, well, why do you want to make a change? Why aren't you feeling fulfilled? What is it that's not happening at your job? And then again, you very quickly realize that it's not that I just want to make a career change. It's I want to find a job that I love. There is a different issue, right? And so then we focus on understanding what it is that the person enjoys doing and what they are passionate about, so that we can make sure that that job search is aligned to that. So again, you can see how getting really great objectives or goals, without the motivation aren't going to get you anywhere. But when you add that motivating factor in there, wow, people get results so quickly. Once you have your goals written down and you have your motivating reasons behind those, then what we do is we develop an action plan. Action planning is important. Action plans change over time. So I usually try to tell people only focus on 1 or 2 action items, because a lot of times people come to me with a big list of all of the things that they're going to do. So going back to the losing weight example, they'll come to me and they'll say, okay, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. I'm going to lift weights 2 times a week. I'm going to eat lots of fruits and veggies. I'm going to cut out soda out of my diet and all refined and sugar and processed foods. And I just sit back. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of change to make in a very short period of time. Maybe we can pick on maybe the 1 or 2 things that you're going to get the biggest impact out of that you think are reasonable, and then we can build from that. And so a lot of times it's, okay, well, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week and then I'll cut out soda. And then week 4, we kind of revisit and we say, okay, how's that going? Are you ready to add on another action item? And then we start to add more fruits and veggies to the plate, or we add, going to the gym and lifting weights. And you continue to build on that until you meet your goal. The biggest piece around the action planning, though, is really around accountability. And this is where I come in as a coach. Coaches keep you accountable. I will tell you that nobody likes to come sit across from me after a week of not doing anything on their action item and answer the question that I always ask, which is, what kind of progress have you made on your action plan? Nobody wants to sit across from me with an empty stare or, a blank slate and not having done anything. And so by having that accountability piece, it motivates people to at least start to make progress on their goals. You don't need to necessarily invest in a coach to keep you accountable. I mean, coaches are great for that, but you can also enlist the help of a trusted friend or partner or significant other to be your accountability partner. Tell them what your goals are and have them help keep you accountable. For example, if you're wanting to eat healthier, then tell somebody that that's what you want to do. And so then when you're out and you want to make a poor food choice, they'll say something to you about that and you might rethink your decision. The other piece that you can do to build in accountability is encourage and make your accountability, build that into your action items. So again, if you want to exercise 3 times a week, then perhaps what you do is you schedule a walking date with a neighbor. 6 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to go for a 30-minute walk in the morning. Then when you roll over at 5:30 in the morning to turn off that alarm, if you know that somebody's going to be standing outside your driveway at 6 a.m., you have a higher likelihood of going in and actually completing that task versus not having anybody there and just rolling over and saying, oh, you know what, I'll do it after work. So you can see where accountability really helps, and that will help to keep you on track. So whatever your choices are, whether you invest in a coach or a trusted friend or a partner, making sure that you build that accountability into your action plan is really important. So this week's homework is to focus on what your goals are. I'd like for you to develop 1 or 2 goals. One goal, if there's only one goal, is completely fine. Make sure that they're SMART goals and get to the motivating reason behind that. And then pick 2 action items that you're going to work on. And then next week, we will talk through how we work through those action items and what we do when things don't necessarily go the way that we had planned. With that, I hope you have a great week.